So if the Irish government want to play dirty, we can play dirty too. Because if you don't let Maria Steen, Nick Dillahunty and McGregor on the Irish ballot to run for presidency, you're going to have stories come out like this. So this is from Captain Kieran Kelly, a massive bombshell just dropped a few days ago. It says Jim Gavin couldn't be trusted with his daughter's best friend, but he also had an affair with Joanne Cluxton. So for those who don't know, Jim Gavin is the Fianna Fáil hopeful candidate for Fianna Fáil. Anyways, I'm not sure after this news story. It says, would you trust this man to be the next president of Ireland? Apparently he had an affair with Joanne Cluxton, and also he slept with his daughter's best friend. Wow, crazy stuff. So Stephen Cluxton, the greatest goalkeeper and former captain of GA football team, of Dublin GA football team. This is crazy stuff. So this is him here. So apparently he had an affair with this woman. Oh my God. Dirty tactics coming out here strong today. Jim Gavin is going to be the first presidential candidate to come out publicly and say, I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
When he talks about his daughter's best friend and Joanne Cluxton. The only question for you, Jim, you like them young and I guess married. What would be the ideal woman for you? Jimmy boy, I'm only getting started. Love from the USA. Maybe part 3 will make things a bit clearer. Remember when you lot, Simon Harris and Micheál Martin interfered with the US election? Remember, it's two-way traffic. Oh my God, this is crazy. So of course, this guy, Captain Kieran Kelly, I don't know, did he serve in the army or if he's a veteran or not, but salute to you, sir. We love the dirty tactics that are being used here. So he's coming out with these allegations against him. There's no proof of this or not, if this is true or not, but apparently he's going to be revealing in the next couple of days the actual proof and photos of this. So Captain Kieran Kelly trying to disrupt the Irish elections. But here's the thing, guys. You know, whenever you run for political office, a lot of dirt is going to come out about you. You know, the skeletons will come out of the closet. And then, of course, in the days after those allegations, RTE, the main broadcasting media in Ireland, the brainwashing media, propaganda media, that backs Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and Sinn Féin, came out and said that Jim Gavin criticises online abuse and malicious smears. So it says, Fianna Fáil candidate Jim Gavin has criticised social media posts circulating about him and should not be subject to online abuse and smears, he says. Which, I mean, you're in the public eye, so that's not true. If you have any allegations against you, you have to make sure that they're not true at all. In a statement issued on his behalf by Fianna Fáil, the posts are referred to as destructive and vicious smears. Mr. Gavin has written on social media companies and commissioned them on. So Mr. Gavin has written to social media companies and commissioned them on. That's crazy. So he's actually written to both the places to try and get people's posts taken down because they're not true whatsoever. I mean, who's to know, guys? I'm not saying they're true or not either. We can't say if they're true or not, but the allegations are pretty heavy from this one guy. In recent days, social media has been flooded with stories about the presidential candidate where he says invented and utterly false. Mr. Gavin has written to X, TikTok, and Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram. He said, Meta has taken several posts down, but there's been no response from X and TikTok. I refuse to accept the price of participating in public life should involve having your friends and family put through waves of online abuse and malicious smears. That's not the cost of service. It's a failure of our digital culture. I mean, welcome to the digital age. I think Ireland and older Irish people are kind of waking up to the online culture that we have now here in Ireland. So welcome to the 21st century, sir. Every person in our country knows the real and growing threat posed by online hate and disinformation. It is one of the forces causing growing division and conflict in many societies. It is a cause of mental health issues amongst our young people due to online bullying and harassment. So that's just hearsay, that's just made up, and there's no proof of that. So RT are again lying to the public. I will continue to take whatever action is necessary to confront this appalling feature of social media. We need to call it out for what it is. Totally unacceptable. Social media companies must do far more to protect people from such nasty and destructive behavior online. So in no regards did he actually say, is it false? I think he just said once that it's utterly lies. But who's to know, guys? Online abuse and malicious smears. I mean, he didn't actually say, I don't think, that they're true or not. Yeah, look, are the rumors true? Yeah. So he should be suing people, not criticizing. So if they're not true, that means then he would be suing them, but he's not suing them. So why is that? Weird. I mean, big things are going to come out soon, guys. This is going to be crazy. So on top of it, Taoiseach Micheál Martin is afraid of lone wolf-style attacks on himself and others. It says here that Gardaí assigned to protect politicians are primarily concerned about the risk of lone wolf-style attacks. Speaking on conclusion of Fianna Fáil Think-In held in Cork City, Martin urged the public, political figures and commentators to avoid using provocative language or engaging in personal attacks. So you're not allowed to, attack people personally or use provocative language. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to mean. Again, they're trying to police language, guys, because language is the only thing we have to push back against people. Fortunately, we have the internet, so we can keep doing that. He expressed concerns that acts of political violence and racially motivated incidents could end up in defining the current era. But Micheál Martin is not of a different race, so what's he talking about? We liaison with Gardaí continuously over the years, and in particular recent events, death threats can be issued against politicians. So of course, that's in regards to the death threats against Simon Harris and bomb threats, but like I said, there was no evidence to support that. We actually don't have proof that that even happened. There's nothing. That's just the mainstream media and them telling us what happened. And I don't trust anyone, particularly politicians or the mainstream news. So the last news story we have here is Helen McEntee trying to turn all of our young people gay. Okay, this one is crazy, guys. It says here, the new redeveloped primary curriculum has been launched for all primary and special schools today. Minister for Education and Youth Helen McEntee tells us about the role of consent, sex education, and sexual orientation in the new curriculum, and why gender ideology has been left out. Interesting. Let's listen.
In terms of consent, we're not talking about consent from a sexual point of view. This is about young children understanding, well, how to say yes, how to say no, what it is to be able to change your mind and still have your own decision-making process, that it's about the ability to understand how you can say yes or no. And it's not in that context, in terms of a sexual context. It's in an age-appropriate way, the same way in which we're now introducing a focus on puberty in a much younger age. I mean, we know that children are starting school later, so for many kids in sixth class, where it's now currently taught, they've already reached puberty, they've already gone through changes, so we're making sure that we're focusing on that at an earlier stage. But importantly, in the well-being piece, it is around teaching young children to be resilient, dealing with challenges of the world, and there's plenty of them that they're going through.
You mentioned things like puberty there. You are teaching things in primary school now along the lines of sexual orientation, aren't you? Heterosexuality, homosexuality, bisexuality. Gender identity has been left off the curriculum. Is there a reason for that?
So gender identity is not there, but what we are, and again, this is having consulted and engaged and gone through quite a lengthy process, what we are doing is making sure that when children are in fifth and sixth class, when they're, as I said, they've gone through puberty, many of them, and they're going into secondary school, that they understand what attraction is, that they understand what it might mean for them, what it might mean for somebody else, and that we're not ignoring this topic. It's really important that we're not ignoring something that we know young people are going through, and that we're doing so at a stage.
I see that. I see that the sexuality piece is in there and sexual orientation is in there, but I'm asking you specifically about gender identity and gender ideology. There was a suggestion that was going to be in there.
So again, this has happened through engagement and consultation. It's not part of the curriculum. It's not there. It's not included in it. We know of.
I mean, I'm going to argue that point. Anyone that knows anything about the redeveloped primary education curriculum, whatever, leave a comment down below. Is it actually in it? Gender ideology, this trans thing, this, LGTV, is any of this stuff in the curriculum? Because I don't take your word for it, guys. I'm going to have to look into that myself. And other people can do it for me, to be perfectly honest, because this stuff is bizarre. I don't know why they're teaching kids young age weirdo stuff, but of course that's what they're trying to do. That's their narrative and agenda in 2025, the woke Marxists.
Obviously from first year onwards, once children go into post-primary school, that's more of a focus and more part of the overall discussion with young people. But the focus here and the emphasis is on sexual orientation. But it is about talking to young people in an age-appropriate way about what is going on in their world. And I think it's really important that we do have that as part of the curriculum.
Why is it updated? Why do they need to update and redevelop these primary education schemes? Why is that? It's for one reason only, guys. It's to brainwash the flipping kids into thinking they're all LGTV. Plain and simple. Let me know your thoughts, guys. If you want to support me, hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member today for just €3 per month so I can keep pushing back against the mainstream media, because the mainstream media is dead. Love you all, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.